Hi Capricorn, welcome to your May 2023 Astro Tarot with me, Raphael from Radiant Reality. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for joining me. Quick note, these readings are for your Sun, Moon and Ascendant sign, though if you're only going to watch one, I do advise that you watch your Ascendant sign because it's going to be the most accurate because I'm incorporating more of the astrology. With that said, remember they are general readings. Not everything's going to resonate with everybody and that is just fine. You should always use your own discernment. Before we start, as always, I would like to bless my decks of cards with all forms of love, light, peace, prosperity and abundance. And I pray that the messages that come through are ultimately clear and concise and they help you on your path to your highest vibrational good. So I'm going to pop these to the side. Those will be for your moons. These will be for your weeks of the month, but this will be for the bulk of your read. So the first transit that we're going to look at is Venus entering the sign of Cancer. Now for you personally, this is your 7th house. So Venus is a sweetener energy, right? She brings, yes, she can bring luck, absolutely, but she brings harmony and peace. She's also the ruler of luxury and money and resources and value and worth. So suddenly your relationship sector, so your 7th house isn't just like your, yes, it's marriages and, you know, your boyfriend, husband, girlfriend, wife, etc. But it's more than that. This is the connections that you have with people on that one-to-one basis. So this can be personal relationships, professional relationships, or platonic relationships, and all of the above at any given moment. Now, as the natural ruler, or so even though she's not the ruler of Cancer, she is the natural ruler of the 7th house. And so what this really gives you is she's coming into a space that she's quite comfortable with, right? So if you're married or you're partnered, this could be really much better, lighter, more fun times. Energy, sort of the energy takes a sweet kind of turn. It makes relationships and partnerships of all kinds a bit cozier, especially if you're partnered. Like this could be you and your significant other really starting to get your romance together, like really starting to pay more attention to each other, feeling that sensual connection, you know, Venus's connection as well, ultimately. So if you are, this could really help you and your partner connect on a much deeper level. And it might make things sweeter and lighter. It could also bring you gifts, or maybe you're the one giving a gift to a partner. So this could bring gifts of money, pleasure, sweets, flowers, chocolates, all of the, you know, Venus loves all of those kinds of things for sure. But this could also be you giving those things to your partner. So this is a really good time because, you know, it's going to be about 4 to 5-ish weeks. This is a really good time to maybe sweeten your relationship by giving a gift as well as allowing yourself to receive them. It could also bring you, so if you're single, get out there, flirt, date, you know, mix and mingle with people. If you want more business connections, etc., this is a really good time to delve into that kind of energy as well. If you're single, you are more attractive to others right now. You're more appealing. Go out and date. Or just allow yourself, like Venus is one of the brightest energies in our sky, right? So she shimmers and she shines and she likes to be noticed and paid attention. So allow yourself to sparkle and just kind of revel in the good energy that's coming into this space. Now, because she is the ruler of your career sector of, you know, of Libra and also your 5th house of Taurus, this does suggest that your work connections, your professional sphere could actually really benefit from this transit as well, especially if you're trying to set up contract negotiations where you're working with people on that one-to-one basis, where maybe you're trying to merge with another person, like, you know, in all senses, personal, platonic, professional, all of those things could really come into play now. So this could be absolutely brilliant. So let's see. Also, because we've had Mars in the sign of Cancer for quite a while at this point, Venus coming into the sign of Cancer, she's bringing the softer side of things. She's helping that Mars kind of get its proverbial-ish together, you know, in a nice way, because after all, Mars and Venus are the celestial lovers. So the fact that they're going to both be in that same sign, this could really help you get romantic, but it also could see you getting really sort of go-getter about something. So you got the Tower card here. So one way that this potentially shows up is maybe somebody really shocks you. Maybe somebody that you work with, maybe it's a friend who comes to you and says, look, I'm head over heels for you. I want to date you. Can we go out for coffee? And you're kind of like, right, look, a secret admirer, right? Because the High Priestess is hidden things revealed, who absolutely shocks you in some way, shape or form. So if you're single, this could be a very big surprise for you. Like you might literally just not see this person in that way. Now, if you've been in a situation or a partnership or a relationship, maybe that you've been trying to get out of, or a relationship connection that you kind of feel has come to its natural conclusion or end, this does suggest that that is likely to happen. And you know, the Tower card always suggests a surprise or like a disruption. I don't think it's so much that you are surprised. I feel like it's for a lot of you, if you're ending a relationship, some people might be like, no way, like you're the couple, right? We never saw this coming. Possible for a select few of you, but it could just as easily be maybe under this transit it becomes easier for you to share a secret, right, with somebody, and then you're releasing that burden of, you know, I'm the only person that knows this, or I'm holding this on my heart or on my head. Now, on the 11th, that Venus transit of into Cancer, it begins on the 8th of May. The 11th of May, the moon will come into a conjunction with Pluto, and it will be opposing Mars in the sign of Cancer, but it's a dissociated opposition. So it's not an opposition by sign, which is a true opposition. It's an opposition by aspect. Now, it is a wide orb of like 6 degrees at this point, but I really felt like this needed to be mentioned. When I was looking at the transits that I thought I might want to talk about, this one really stood out. So now, this conjunction is going to be happening for you in your second house of money, finances, resources, wealth, value. Your personal money is found in the second house, and how you feel about yourself, how you really view yourself on that sort of self-esteem level is all of this as well. It's also what you have, what you own, your possessions, right? So this conjunction is definitely going to be intense for all of us. There's no getting around that. It's happening in your house of money, finances and resources. So, and because this is a last quarter square energy, it may very well be that you need to, it might very well be that it's almost like it requires immediate action. So something comes up, you're not able to ignore it. And especially because the moon is conjunct Pluto, it will need to be dealt with, right? Because it's the conjunction to Pluto. Pluto is the final word. It's the end of something. So this could bring something abruptly to an end, and that doesn't have to be scary or awful, but it will require your immediate reaction. Now, moon is the ruler of your 7th house of Cancer, bringing a partnership and contractual message maybe to an end or to a close, very possible. And these cards that have come up here for the Venus transit of Cancer, maybe this is the greasing of the wheels or the softening of the hard stuff that is going to take in order for you to kind of step forward. Now, another way that this could show up as well, because it's Mars by aspect, and Mars rules your 4th house of home, family, property, real estate, and also your 11th. This is not a transit or a time, the 10th, the 11th, or the 12th of May. That is not a time to mix money and friendship. Not a time to do it at all. And it's also not an ideal time to get into business with a friend. If you're already there, this is probably going to highlight to you where the cracks in those foundations are. It doesn't have to be a deal breaker, but it might show you what is obsolete or what really does need to be adapted or adjusted in some way. For this, you have the 8 of Cups, so potentially walking away from something here with the 5 of Cups. And maybe feeling that keen sting, right? Maybe you thought this was going all the way. Now, it does suggest that in some kind of partnership, connection, friendship, etc., something's being reborn here, right? And because the Judgment card, interestingly enough, is Pluto, this card always shows up as a finality. This is something is adapted, adjusted, it needs to be looked at, and then it's kind of like, okay, this is done now. All right, we move on from here. So I got to say that moon conjunct Pluto in that 2nd house, it does look like it's bringing something to an end. Maybe this is one revenue stream in favor for another, or maybe it's something that you had hoped to sort of go, a certain route that you'd hoped to go down. but you know, it's kind of a no-go, or it's a non-starter potentially. For the third transit that I want to look at, Jupiter, the Lord of abundance, blessings, growth, expansion, light, the visions of the future, your beliefs and your belief structures and systems is all Jupiterian stuff, as well as dignitaries, right? People that are movers and shakers. Jupiter's coming into the sign of Taurus on the 16th of May. So wherever you are in the world, it might be slightly different because it's here in the UK. Jupiter will come into Taurus at like 7, I think it's like 6, 7, 8 p.m. in the evening. So it's quite late in the day, but it's definitely on the 16th if you're here in the UK. This is into your 5th house. It's a nice long transit, 12 months. This is just the start of it. So this isn't one of those things that you can miss, or do you know what I mean? You're going to get a good healthy dose of this. Now, Jupiter, abundance, blessings, it's coming into the 5th house. Jupiter loves children. So if you have children, this could be an opportunity to spend more time with them, to really get to know them on a much better level. It could bring in healing to a relationship that you have with a child. So let's say you've got kids, maybe you've got a teenager, you know, those dreaded creatures, or the toddlers, right? Toddlers and teenagers, funnily enough, they both begin with the number 2. Right? Long story. One day. Interestingly, that's my numerology sort of brain going up there. What really strikes me with this is it could, because Jupiter represents healing, so it could bring the healing of a connection with a child, with maybe you've had problems or issues with one of your kids, and this could really bring you what you need to kind of, you know, grease that over and say, okay, here's how we move forward. It's a nice 12-month transit, so milk it. You know, this is the thing with Jupiter transits as well. Most of the time people are like, oh yeah, Jupiter transit, I can just sit there doing nothing. No, it's like anything. You have to lean into it. You've got to do something with it. But when you do, it's much easier and it goes in your favor. So it could also be possible for some of you that you meet, like, especially if you're like, if it could be that if you're single, you could be meeting somebody that's more creative, maybe someone who has a bit of status about them or some kind of celebrity, etc. The reason being is Jupiter, you know, has that dignitary energy, and the 5th house is also pleasure and romance. It's the, you know, like the weak in the knees, the butterflies, all of that kind of stuff. It's the flutter of that first love where you start dating and just having fun. And the 5th house is a truly lucky space in the chart. So within reason, take some calculated risks, right? Take some, if you think, you know what, yeah, I feel particularly lucky today, let me buy that lotto ticket, you know, or maybe I'm going to put some money on a horse on the Grand National in the, well, we have that here in the UK. I don't know if you have it anywhere else. You know, or actually, you know what, I'm going to send a letter or an email to that person asking if they want to purchase my, you know, biggest offer or package or whatever. Use it, lean into it. Now, as the ruler of your 3rd house and your 12th house, this could bring you a lot of connections into your world, and it could also be a really powerful time this next 12 months to start developing your own spiritual gifts, especially because Sagittarius is an energy of spirituality, which is your 12th house. Jupiter rules that 12th house for you, and the 3rd house, which is skills. So you could be gaining some new skill around a spiritual matter. Maybe you're starting to delve into tarot, astrology, numerology, the I Ching, human design, right? Like, this is a really good time to really accelerate that kind of learning. All right, so for this you have the 5 of Swords, okay, with the 4 of Swords. So this is basically saying you have to learn to bite your tongue. Over the next 12 months, that Jupiter is going to show you what battles are worth fighting and what battles really aren't. In terms of this month, right, so the Death card is endings, culminations and completions. The 4 of Swords is, you know, leave it alone, step back. And then you've got the Five of Swords, which is arguments. This potentially literally brings the death or the end of or the cooling of an argument of some sort. So my money is on for those of you that have got kids. If you've been dating someone and it's been a bit awkward, or you just can't seem to get on that even keel, I think for those of you that have partners, this month you will be able to do it. I think that, you know, it will go really nicely. Now, there is something else in here of a signature that I do need to talk about. If you've been with me long enough, you know I never shy away from the difficult stuff. And, you know, there are times when tarot speaks and I'm like, why? Can you not just give me like another message or something lighter? But I can't ignore what I know, and I can't not speak on it. That's the bond that I have with the cards and their meanings and their imagery. I assure you, for anybody that's watching this, I do not relish making predictions about death or the possibility for it. I just don't personally demonize death because I know it to be a very natural part to our lives, right? We're born, we live hopefully a very full life, and then we pass, we transition out of this body and into wherever it is we go next. I got some theories on that, you know, but it's just my beliefs. So the reason I bring this up, the Judgment card coupled with the Death card is one of the very few combinations in tarot that means true death. It does usually suggest, so if that combination comes up, it's one of two things. This is either somebody that has made really old bones, so it's not that it's going to be like, oh yeah, you know, you're not happy about it, but it's like, okay, this person was like 85, 86, 90 plus. You know, it's awful, it's sad to see them go, but actually they've had a good innings. That's one way that this can show up. Or this could be somebody that's already passed and you get an invite to a funeral. And the reason I say that is because the Four of Swords is involved there. All right, so I hope I'm wrong on that front, but just a little heads up. Now, on the 21st of May, we've got another intense transit. There's no getting out of this one. It's nice because Mars is moving into Leo, into your 8th house, so it's definitely bringing energy, passion, excitement, probably even more. That's going to ramp up your sex life. So if you're partnered, married, or in long-term commitments and you've been through a little bit of a lull, that lull is well and truly over when Mars kicks down the door and arrives in Leo, right? You're going to be getting in there and getting that good. For those of you that are single, this is a month to date. Venus in the 7th, Mars coming into the 8th. Like, get out there, mix and mingle, right? Be single and let everybody know about it, all right? Now, it's bringing all kinds of energy and passion and excitement to this space of primal sexuality, personal private expression. The 8th house is other people's money and resources. It's taxes, loans, inheritance, you know, big money as well, as one of my go-to astrologers calls it. So there's all of that going on as well. And this is also your partner's money. So Mars is the ancient ruler of the 8th house, because in ancient astrology, Mars ruled Scorpio. So it actually rules this 8th house. It does good work there, or it has the potential to. It's an energy that he knows at least, right? So that said, this is opposing Pluto. As soon as it comes into the sign of Leo, Mars is going to oppose Pluto in Aquarius, right? There's no getting around the fact that this is potentially explosive, all right? We've just got to call a spade a spade. However, it could also be something around a financial situation that gets very loud, potentially very quickly. Now, it is an explosive combination. As I say, no getting around that, unfortunately. But what really comes through for you guys is because it's in a sextile to the sun, which is newly at 0 degrees of Gemini at this time, it's an opportunity for you to do some kind of financial or task-based gymnastics. And this might be a precursor to a moment that's happening a little bit later in the month on the 24th. There'll be more on that in a separate video. So just things to be aware of and mindful of. Now, for this, you've got the Four of Wands. You got the Page of Swords. Very nice. And you've got the Knight of Wands. For a very select few of you, if you're in work or in working situations, there's a potential here for you to be headhunted. Maybe somebody sees your work and says, look, I absolutely love how you do what you do. really would like to help advance you here. This could also be, because that Page of Swords is interviews, it's also a commute of some sort with that Knight of Wands. And because it comes up with the Four of Wands, there's an element here of some really good news that almost requires you to kind of act very quickly. Because of the energies that are taking place between Mars and Pluto, there is an energy here of kind of like an opposition between your second and your eighth houses. So it is going to have a financial slant to it, but it potentially upsets the apple cart. So let's say you do get offered a new job, or you go after a new job or new business, and you say to your partner, look, I'm not going to be able to watch the kids anymore because I've just got this new job. And they're like, well, that's going to completely disrupt our routine. And then you say to them, but it pays an extra 10 grand a year. And they're like, okay, we can work with that. Am I having them Monday to Thursday and you the rest of the time? Right? Suddenly, you'll find a way through this. The day before, the day of, and the day after, it may be a little bit more intense than you like your intensity. All right, so for your weeks of the month, let's see what's going on. For the first week of May, you have... Dun, 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 dun. I don't worry so much about the length of the video for the Capricorns, because you guys actually have staying power. So for the first week of the month, you've got the Magician card, some good communications coming in, potentially smoothing things over, also potentially connecting with a powerful person that can help advance some of your plans. For the second week of the month, you've got the Hermit card. This is a lot of mercurial energy, right? So the Magician card is Mercury. You've got the Hermit card, which is Virgo. So it's a potential that you're meeting somebody who is older, wiser, more experienced, more seasoned, as if you could get more seasoned or experienced or wiser than a Capricorn. So it is a potential, though, that you connect with someone and you think, you know what, this is someone I can learn from. This is someone I can really work with, work alongside, gain new knowledge, wisdom, insight, etc. from. So this could be really exciting. You've got this with the Hanged Man, right? So this mid portion of the month, do give more time, effort and energy to your spirituality and your spiritual path. Not just practices that you have or want to take on board. Really start to look at your spiritual path and ask yourself, what is the goal here? There's no point in having a whole bunch of spiritual routines and rituals if you don't really know what the goal is. Is it to be more spiritual? Is it to get in touch with the divine? Is it to work with a certain type of divine energy? Clarify what it is to you. Now, the other thing with the Hanged Man energy here in the third week of the month, there's a potential here that something is not quite clear. Right, the Hanged Man is a very nebulous energy, and then you've got this with the World card. So that's or one of your cards at least. Now, what I love most about this for you, this suggests new levels, right? And potentially for a lot of you, new spiritual levels, new spiritual awareness, and even a potential to connect with people on people of a spiritual nature on a more practical level. So maybe you find a group to work with or to study with or alongside, and that could be very, very beneficial for you. All right, so finally for your moons, all right, so you've got the new moon in the sign of Taurus, and that for you is taking place in the fifth house, right? Fifth house of pleasure, romance, joy, happiness, creativity, children. You've got the gate 22 and grace. If you are single, right? I don't say this lightly. Swans mate for life, right? And you've got the gate 22 grace card. So this is really twofold in the way that it speaks to you. It's the 22 energy as well. So 22 energy is the master builder. I love, love, love this for you. So the first thing, this card basically represents true love matches and or mates or soulmate energy. Very possible that could come in for you, but it starts light-hearted, right? It's the fifth house after all. It's not the heavy, this is a commitment, it's you and me against the world kind of stuff. It's just, wow, this person makes me feel great and I actually feel really comfortable in their presence, which is a really big marker for Capricorns. Like if you feel settled and comfortable in someone's presence, then Capricorns are like, yes, you know what, I could date this person and actually there's a future there. The other thing about this card, it basically says to you, create for the sake of creating. And the fifth house is a very creative space and energy, right? So then for the full moon lunar eclipse in the sign of Scorpio, this for you is happening in your, oh, come on, brain. This for you is happening in your 11th house of social networks, you know, your wider community connections. It's also your social media presence, if you have one, your higher goals, aspirations and dreams, and its benefactors. The fact that you've got the gate 19 and sensitivity, and that's an eclipse moon, by the way, it's a full moon lunar eclipse in Scorpio. Your heightened sense of sensitivity at that moment, use it as a compass, right? When you feel that, like, it will be giving you nudges and tips of what the best path for your personal future is. Just allow yourself to be guided. With that said, I wish you an abundance of all of that good stuff. Have a fantastic month. Let me know in the comments how it shapes up. Take care, and I'll see you soon.